Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to use conditional statements. I'm also going to cover some variables. So before, when we were making a square, we had the square move a certain amount of steps whenever we placed the space bar, or actually we made a triangle. You guys were supposed to make a square. So I can do that, but now let me do something crazy. Instead of moving 10 steps, let's move an unknown number of steps. So you could create a variable. So I want to make a variable, and I can name it. So I think I'll name my variable steps. And then you can do anything with a variable that you can do with a number. So instead of move 10 steps, I'm going to move steps. And see up here, the value of steps is what? 0. So when I press the space bar, or when I click the green flag, the code's going to execute. Unfortunately, my steps is set to 0. So you can also set and change your steps. Now we're going to do something really interesting. I'm going to do a square, but instead of making a square, I'm going to make a pattern. So I'm going to pull in the change by 1. And I'm going to use the pull down menu to change the variable steps by 1. And we'll start by, we'll just leave step set at 0. So now when I click the green flag, he moves 0 steps. The steps changes by 1. And then when I click the green flag, steps is now 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And as you see, the little turtle will start to move further and further with each click, because the steps number is getting greater. All right. So now let's do something really fancy with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to motion, and I'm going to go to 0, 0, and then every time I turn, or every time I take a step, I'm going to go 90-degree turn. And to make it even more interesting, when I start this program, I think I'm going to have a way of resetting steps to 0. So I'm going to go back to Control. I'm going to pull out the space key, and I'm going to go back to motion. I'm going to go back to variables, and I'm going to start out by pre-saying that steps has to start at 0. All right. So I've got this little variable window on my screen. If you don't want the variable window, you can unclick the checkbox, and the variable window goes away. Or you can click the checkbox and it's there. What do you think is going to happen when I press the space bar? Yeah, actually I think I'm going to have him go to 0 steps and go to location 0, 0. So the x coordinate and the y coordinate will return to 0, 0. That'll put the turtle in the middle. And this steps variable will return to 0 as well. Ta-da! And now when I click the green flag, he's turning every time, so it looks like he's spinning. So what would be really cool is if I could have seen that. Let's go ahead and set his direction to 90 too. Point in direction 90. Okay, what would be really cool is if, like, I put the pen down, and now I'm going to draw something, and I can see where he's going. Ben, you with me? Yeah.
I am.
All right.
I put the forever
I'm getting ready to do just that. So I'm going to put the pen down, and I'm going to set steps to 0, go to point in direction 90. I tell you what, I think I'll put the pen up, and I'll clear it when I press the space bar, so I can do it over and over again. That's a heinous crime. All right, so now what's going to happen when I click the, well, let's reset him. What's going to happen when I click the green?
That's awesome.
He's going to start drawing a picture. And the picture gets bigger and bigger. So if we want to see it full screen,
Did mine have the forever loop on it?
Yeah, add the forever loop on it.
So you want me to put the forever loop on it?
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change steps by 5. So I'm going to change the steps by 5. And then I'll put the forever loop on it. So go to control. Forever just is a repeat loop that happens over and over again. I'll take it to the big screen. Click the green flag. And it just makes a pattern. So with variables, you can do cool stuff like not only can I turn him 90 degrees. Wow, I'm still running. I better stop that. Not only can I turn him 90 degrees, but I could create a variable called deg, D-E-G. Now I've got 2 variables to work with, and deg could represent degrees, and I could start deg at 60. All right, so here I'm going to point in direction 90, and I'm going to change the turn by degrees, and I'm going to start out my degree. Let's start by making a 15-degree turn, and then I'll just change consistently 15 degrees each time. So now when I go to here and I press the green flag, oops, it just goes straight. What happened? Set degree to, oh, I forgot to press the space bar.
What's degree supposed to be?
Degree is originally supposed to be set to 15. So now I go here. I forgot to press the space bar, which set that. So now he just kind of turns and runs away. So I don't know what happened. So maybe,
Didn't it only turn once?
yeah, I mean, it's going off the screen now. Something's happening off the screen. So let's make the degree turn a lot bigger. So let's change it to 150. Let's see what happens now. So I'll press the space bar and reset everything. I'll press the green flag. It's zooming some big steps, that's for sure. All right. Well, let's try.
Oh, you don't have a change deg by anything?
Right. So, but I mean, okay, let's do 60. That should be okay. There we go. That's a pretty cool pattern. So the degrees had to be less than 90 to get the cool pattern. So I can go back and I can play around with the degrees by using a variable. So the other thing I want to introduce you to today is I want to introduce you to input. So at the very beginning of my when the green flag is checked, before I go inside the loop, I'm going to create a question. Pick a degree from, not from, between 30 and 90. And then instead of using DEG, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set DGE to the answer of whatever I type in. And so I probably now want to set my degree not when the space bar is pressed, but when the green flag is pressed. So it'll wait for an answer. It'll store that answer in the blue answer variable. Then it'll set degree to that answer. And then degree is going to be whatever I typed in. So let's hit the space bar to reset everything. Then I'll hit the green flag. Notice it immediately asked me to pick a degree. And it's stuck right now. It's waiting for me to pick a degree. So I'm going to pick 54 because I'm dyslexic. When I hit enter, degree is going to become 54 and the program starts to run.
Can you choose
And so
degree
that's
outside of 30 to 90?
So if I hit the space bar, it should reset the thing. Oh, I got to stop it, yeah. So when I hit the space bar, maybe I should go ahead and put that in my code too, because I don't know where my turtle went. Turtle should be at 00 when I hit the space bar.
Mr.
I don't
Baker,
think it's attached.
you could use conditionals and some operators to make sure that they can't put a number that is like less than 30 and greater than 90.
Right. So I'll do that in a second. You're getting ahead of me there. So what I want to do is, I forgot what I was going to do now. So instead of running it forever, why don't we just run it like 30 times? So I'll go to control and I'll put out a repeat loop and I'll do it 20 times. And then I'll go back to here and click the green flag. Pick a number between 30 and 90. Let's pick 88. That'll be pretty close to 90. See, now you can do your patterns, but you can do your patterns in a limited format.
What happens if you choose a degree outside of 90?
So it'll let you. I've just given you a prompt. So if you want to make sure that they do the correct thing, then what you can do is you can create a loop that'll go over and over and over again until they pick a correct number. So this is really more than I wanted to do with conditionals, but I'll make up something simple. So there's a system called operators, and in operators, you can pull over a less than or greater than symbol. So repeat until answer is less than 90. So until their answer is less than the value 90. And then I can even chain, so I could pull another operator over that says and until their answer is less than 90 and greater than 30.
Isn't that one backwards and the less than one?
Yeah, it is. I want answer to be less than 90. And then I can just ask the question over again. So if something happens and they don't pick the right range, now I'm going to be repeating over and over and I'll never set degree. And now let's make this run, let's make it run 100 times. Yes, sir.
You haven't put 30 for the less than.
I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. All right, so answer's got to be bigger than 30 and less than 90. So now when I stop this and I reset everything, and I'm going to make my variables disappear by unchecking the boxes next to those variables. And now I'm going to go to the screen and I'll hit the green flag. Put a between, so I'm going to put 1. No, pick a degree between 30 and 90, so I'll pick 100. No, pick a degree between 30 and 90. Okay, 45. Now it'll execute. Does that make sense?